Good morning. This is a snapshot of the morning video brief I'm going to put out, but I'm going to actually call it a special report. Unfortunately, it's well over an hour, so I fully understand you may not read it all until even next week, but I really think you should listen to what I've got to say. There may be some upsetting things. Please don't hate me. I'm trying to respect everybody's ideas in the markets, economy, religion, politics, whatever. But there's some interesting things going on here that I want you to be aware of. So in case you just don't have the time today, but you want to know on the market, I think the level 4, and by the way, this is October 18, 9:42 a.m. Eastern Time. The market's already open and kind of breaking even, floundering around here. I think we're in a level 4 downswing. That's an interweek swing, maybe sometimes only an intraday swing. I think it's probably going to be up on Monday for that level 4. It may even turn up today, but unfortunately I have to allow it down all day today. Now, what's bothering me is the market went to a record high yesterday. We're going to play it safe and move the level 3 top to that high and say until that high is taken out, there is a chance the market's actually going lower in the next week. The level 4s, therefore, won't be able to bounce much at all, may not work. And even if they bounce quite a bit, they could be quickly erased because of this level 3 downtrend that occurs once a month. And so we think it's pulling back into a bottom next week. The fascinating thing is it might actually bottom today, though. All right. And we don't know how to deal with that when we don't know whether we want to be that brave. Because we're thinking that the market acted a little leery yesterday, that it got very good retail sales report, suggesting the economy's doing fantastic as we bring down inflation. And we've already got a Fed rate cut. So why should we want another one? Why does it really matter? It shouldn't. And so these earnings are going very, very well. So this looks very, very bullish. And yet it is time to back it off, but it may only back off today and be up all of next week. It may back off into next week, then up into the following week. Kind of delay things a little bit, and it may take away some of the time. The longer it takes to make it to go up and the less time to go up maybe, okay? So a little bit of fuzziness, a little bit of correction here. There's definitely an increasing number of Wall Street people saying, this market is basically going straight up this year. Something's got to not work here. And there are people now even worried that instead of next year being a wonderful bull market year, it's really going to be a bit choppy, sloppy, quite a bit of it, even though it may be an up year. We'll worry about that later. What's going on is I think we have to consider what's going on with the election. It's going to increasingly become more important whether we want to talk politics or not. I don't think we have a choice, even though I know my competitors won't talk at all about it. It is a component, and even they will talk about the election itself. They just won't want to talk about who's the better one. In this long special report, I'm doing a lot of thinking what I'm hearing from some of these Wall Street. There's some people thinking the stock market's actually gone up because of betting Trump will win. And I have problems with that. And I can even see, even if that's correct, it may not be a good thing later. So what I want to warn you is, it can pull back into next week. It can go higher still. It can go higher all the way into November, Thanksgiving to December. But what we want to watch out for looking at this week is, even though I called the level 2 top, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then a bottom 1 or 2 weeks after it, the problem is I can delay that top and bottom to latest allowed, and the latest allowed for a top is this week. So next week, we really need the market to be up to a record high to show that time stop triggers, and we can be a little less concerned to the downside. The problem is we're still could have a late level 2 bottom, however. And even if we got this late level 2 top, and then a late level 2 bottom could make it even more bearish. In other words, something might go wrong over the next few weeks. They may want to sell this stock market into the election as a way of just being safe. And then if they don't like the election, they may sell it hard. It may crash. You may see it crash during the night, just like it did in 2016 with Trump, okay? And then again, we may be okay, all right? So the reason I'm telling you this, if you're getting nervous and need to lighten up a bit, protect yourself, you could do it with the idea of at least next week, if it's going higher, maybe you better get back into the market for a little while longer. And then maybe you'll still want to lighten up yet again as we get another level 3 decline that's probably going to come in near the election, just to be safe. Because what if the top, this level 2 top, was something even more important. I tried to explain that in this special report. I think we're going to see, you could see just a tremendous sell-off, okay? There's a lot of wild, crazy things that can go, all right? It shouldn't, but it's on the table now, unfortunately. I didn't even want it on the table. I was hoping it was on a shelf on the other side of the office. Well, it's on my on my desk, okay? So I'm telling you about it, all right? Unfortunately, I can't give you a late level 2 sell signal right now. But I think you could do it with the idea, hey, the market really hasn't backed off much. On Monday, if it's higher still, I know I can jump back in. I really didn't miss out on much. This didn't really cost me that much. I think it's okay if you want to play some games like that. I may even do that, but it's going to be for a very small amount of my money. I guess I'm going to have to be the fool of selling quite a bit on the way down if something bad occurs here in the next 30 days. But, we can make an argument that if it goes lower in the next week, then later on, if it goes to a new record high, then we will have that time stop feature telling us, you know what, we do want to be bullish for a while. But until then, I must say this could be, all along I said that level 2 top to level 2 bottom, the market really didn't decline much. And it was really just a hesitation off worries of the Middle East and a few other things, and wasn't really all that bearish. Well, it's possible then that's also a clue that wasn't a true level 2 decline, that it should have been at least a little more bearish than that. And it could be, the history shows it could be quite a bit more bearish. So you could use that as a key here if you're getting a little nervous here. And we'll see what we get next week. The spike in interest rates was probably because of the spike in the dollar, because people were pouring money from around the world, worried over the Middle East blowing up, pumping it into the U.S. However, and it may have something going on with that type of trading in the U.S. where we just pushed our own dollar higher, but there's something more to it than that on the interest rate side. And what it is the fiscal year for the Treasury ended in September. And it began, of course, a new year in October, and they're pumping liquidity in. And some people said it's $500 billion or something like that. I'd come up with 200 billion, I think. But it was a big slug, and that's making people nervous. What's going on with the government? But at the same time, you could argue this is kind of how things work this time of year anyways. And with that amount of selling debt, the bond market had to increase the interest rate to entice people to buy that government debt. Really, that's how it's worked anyways. And if you look at the rise of interest rates, you would then say, it's really not that big a deal. That's normal business. On a short-term basis, yes, it was a sizable jump in interest rates right after the Fed cut. That was unusual. That was strange, okay? And to move it up that fast. But I'm now having a better understanding. It's not only the dollar that's also linked to Middle East, to crude oil, but also it's really just normal business by the bond market and the U.S. Treasury, the government, okay? All right, I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see where we go with it. Don't be surprised, the market will be a bit lower next week. And don't be surprised, we're going to be on pins and needles more than I would have thought with all this business cycle and modeling and this and that, because I think the people themselves are going to be more on pins and needles here going into this election, especially the way some of the polls are going. And I also mentioned some big name people, whether or not they're right on, is it the Trump side investor pushing this stock market higher? I think it's actually both, all right? And then the election, one's going to be proven wrong, right? And what bias is going to come out of that? All right, fascinating stuff going on here. Might get a little more stressful than what I wanted. And not so sure. If things go wrong, I'm probably going to get back quite a bit of profit because I'm not in a real mood to become, fast moving here. Yet I'm sometimes wonder if this is a good opportunity to just dump everything and go away for a little while. Okay. All right. Have a great weekend. And for the moment, the trend is up and record high. The earnings look good. I'm comfortable with interest rates and dollar. The overall news looks good. Okay. But the election may not be looking good, and it's going to become more important to everyone, and that's going to trickle through the market and become important to me, whether I like it or not. All right. Hope you have a great weekend, great day. Again, ideas, pull it back today. I think it'll be up on Monday, Tuesday. Will it be record high? Don't know, because it can pull back for that larger level 3 once a month downtrend. And then it would probably be a bottom and put it up the following week. But the key is, can we sustain that larger up move into Thanksgiving to December the way we would like when we have to deal with the election? Thank you.